let's go on through it, man. Truck Series, everybody. If you didn't see the truck race, I'm never supposed to tell you not to watch, but maybe you just skip that one. But if you did see it, you know what happened. A lot of crazy crap going on at the end of that race, and it's exactly what we saw at Martinsville in the Xfinity race.
Yeah,
and so I mean, there's I don't want to give the truckers a hard time because it ain't just truckers, man. It's a little bit of it's kind of that that kind of situation. None of that happens if Carson Hocevar doesn't wreck Corey Heim with 30 to go, and then Heim retaliating with 4 laps to go, right? If those two guys don't get near each other and do that, then I don't think we have any kind of real drama at the end of that race. But when you have a championship on the line, trucks that all, there's a lot of on throttle. The trucks, are very aero dependent, and the way they race is kind of brings this kind of stuff into play. I won't say youth. I mean, there's some young guys, but some veterans as well. But anyways, when you have a championship on the line and you're going to have a late restart, chances are there's going to be some things like that happen. I don't care if it's at any level, even at the Cup level. Sometimes it might happen. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised to see it at the Cup level. I know it's probably more unlikely because the drivers have a bit better racecraft and understanding of what's fair and not fair.
But you'd agree that the Truck Series has developed the reputation of having this type of immaturity almost on a weekly basis, right? I mean,
no.
It's consistent.
I wouldn't say that.
It's not consistent?
Mm-mm. I mean, I don't see it every week. I watch truck races, and I don't really see it all the time every week. I think it's, Martinsville and an Xfinity race. I'm going to go to Martinsville next year, and I bet you the first Martinsville race in Xfinity won't have this. I bet you the second one will. All right? It's not a truck. It's not a serious problem. It's a little bit on the drivers for sure. They bear all the responsibility for their decisions, but it's the box they're put in, man. Just like the Xfinity cars at Martinsville, that finish was just as comical and absurd. It was crazy, and it bared. I mean, all of the conversations and all the things that happened, things were said. Let's go back. Refresh your memory.
To Martinsville?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it. I feel like it's not the same actually. But I actually understand your point.
Yeah. Every corner they were running over each other, knocking each other out of the way. Everybody got run over at Martinsville in the Xfinity race.
I guess I apply a different logic with Martinsville.
The whole damn field was destroyed at the start-finish line at the end of the race.
Does the fact that Martinsville a half-mile short track mean anything though in that conversation? I mean,
Phoenix is another quarter mile longer.
It's definitely more room. It's a mile.
Nope,
it's not a mile.
I don't think it's a full mile, is it?
I think it's a mile.
Is it?
Yeah. Double check.
It's a little larger than I thought.
It's a mile. So it's not the same as a half-mile short track. I don't know. I apply a different approach to each one of those, and I did feel like the formats and everything puts them in a box. You are 100% right about that, Dale. Yeah. I mean, they are doing that. The retaliation at the end of the truck race is what I don't remember seeing that at Martinsville.
Yeah,
like deliberate retaliation, take you out. You're not going to end this race, and that is what we saw at Phoenix in the truck race, and it did affect the end and the championship as we know.
Yep.
That's what I think is the difference for me.
I think Freddie on Door Bumper Clear said that he had some comments on Twitter that made me pause for a minute because I was trying to figure out what he meant. He said what Carson Hocevar did was worse than what Heim did. And I'm like, well, why? Because what Heim did was worse. Heim's retaliation cost Effinger the championship. Enfinger the championship. So he's saying that's worse than what Carson did. And I'm like, I didn't understand where he was going with that until, he spells it out. It makes sense to me. But, Carson started it, right? It doesn't, Heim doesn't do what he does on lap 4 if Carson doesn't do what he does. And Carson has this reputation of doing it. And so I don't know that I could say one's worse than the other. I think they're about equal. It's a bad look. It's a bad look for the Truck Series. How do you come back from that, right? That's the question.
What if you're Carson Hocevar especially and Corey Heim? Like, what do they need to do? Do you think that they have to earn people's trust? They obviously want to grow in this sport. They want to get opportunities. Do you think this hinders that?
Sir?
Do you think that for Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar specifically that they've got some damage repair to do for themselves and that they to be able to get opportunities moving forward? Or do you think this is now part of their legacy almost?
I'm hesitant to tell you my point of view because I don't know that it'll be popular. Shoot.
Yeah, I'm over here doing the same
thing. Drinking at Sundrop with all the sweetness and goodness in there probably isn't really helping my throat a little bit. But it's kind of like a syrup, right? It's getting down in there and making it worse.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. This is the thing, man. All right, we'll cut to the chase here. Carson has done this so many times, and he went in the corner and hits Heim and goes up the track further. So looking at the motion of his truck as he drives down in the corner, across the track, hits Heim, continues to go up the track. I'm like, it's indefensible. It's indefensible. And him coming over the radio and going, walk me through what happened there. I'm like, wait a minute, man. You know what you just did. He's like he's like playing the I don't know what just happened card. It's like, no, man, you know what you did. And beating the steering wheel and getting all animated inside the car, to me, is not.
It's not an excuse. It's not a get out of jail free card.
I don't know that it's genuine.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
I mean, I think that he may feel some sort of like, damn it, I screwed up again. I really don't. I got to quit doing this. But I'm sure that he feels. I'm sure that he feels like, man, I got to straighten this out. I got to stop doing this. But he doesn't feel that way in the moment to stop doing it. He keeps doing it. There's something innate inside his mental approach to all of this that really, really, really needs some work. And he's going to, if he continues this type of stuff, ruin this incredible opportunity he has because he is incredibly talented. And so I in a couple of weeks will soon forget any involvement that Heim had in all of this. I will forget that Heim wrecked him with 4 to go. I will forget that cost Enfinger the championship. I will forget all of that in about 2 weeks. What I will not have forgotten is what Carson has been doing. That's it. That's the whole thing for me. And I believe that's probably likely for about anybody else in the industry.
I think you're right. And for that reason, I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I know that it's harsh to say, but the fact is, I think that that's probably how most people feel about it.
Right. So does Heim have work to do to rebuild his rep? No, because he doesn't have a reputation of doing these things.
I got your point. Yep. But,
all right.
But Carson does. They're not in the same boat.
And so Heim's going to go on down the road pretty much damage-free. Carson, on the other hand, digs a deeper hole to try to climb out of. Talking about trying to repair a reputation, I don't even know if that's putting it lightly, right?
Got it. Yeah.
Now, look, I hate to say that because, dude, man, I want to like Carson. I want to pull for him. Dude said some cool things about me. We've had, you can go read it in the press, but he is so fast. He's so good. But this little thing that he's doing isn't I don't think it's this easy thing to cure. It's something built and instilled way down in him that's part of his DNA that'll be really hard to extract. Okay? That's what I worry about because it continues. If he would have been able to race Heim cleaner, even if they beat and bang some, right? If he would have been able to allow Heim to finish the race, even with some contact, that would have been hey, I think Carson's getting it. I think he's figuring it out. That was a better thing there. In the past, maybe he's done something stupid, but he did. He continues to do this. All right, so that's kind of where I am at it. I don't, and the Truck Series, to me, as far as how the race got out of hand and unraveled, I see it I disagree a little bit with you, Mike. I see it as exactly how the Xfinity race went at Martinsville. I put a lot on the drivers, but I also put a ton on this system, the playoffs. That it's a one race for everything playoff scenario. At Phoenix for the title with 3 laps to go. I don't know what you're supposed to expect.
Yeah, I think you say it better than I did. I agree with what you're saying.
Same in the Xfinity race at Martinsville is the same thing, if not more. You've got 8 people in that moment trying to get through.
That's right.
Right? So it's going to be if you put them all if you said, all right, let's just hypothetically. One thing that's consistent about all of this is late race restarts, both at Phoenix and at Martinsville, right? Late race restarts. If the races run green, we'll go caution free. We don't have a bunch of craziness, but it's the cautions inside of 10 to go, right? Tell me what's going to happen if we went to every elimination race, lined them all up, and threw the green and said race is over in 3 laps.
I think you're saying that they would all have a collision and it would be chaos.
Yeah.
But then the Xfinity Series race at Phoenix, not Martinsville, was a good exhibit of hard racing, late restarts, and they didn't go act like fools.
You know why?
Why?
Because of the truck race that happened the night before.
Yeah.
All right, so when we go to the duels at Daytona, forever we'd race at the duels at Daytona, all right, in February. You spend 6 months building this pristine car, polishing, molding, fixing, right? You send it out there, and you go out there in a 125 and wad it up.
Right.
And the first race, you'd have this big crash that would take out 6 or 8, 10 cars, and everybody that's in the second race would go, oh,
can't do that.
We better not do that.
Right.
I forgot. This car is important. I forgot. This car is massaged and perfect. I better get it into the actual race. That is Sunday, the Daytona 500.
Right.
And so the second race would be like, everybody mind your P's and Q's. Everybody take it easy here. We know what's at stake now. Boy, that was a good reminder. And so I think it was a little bit of that.
Yeah, you could be right. I see that. But I mean, certainly with the vocal reaction from everybody in the industry after Friday night.
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody was harsh on the way that thing embarrassed.
It was absolutely embarrassing, and it's fortunate we didn't have that 2 nights in a row.